Hey everyone, welcome back to this video where we are going to talk about the astrology of August 2025. It's a month full of pressure points that are a signal to we as a nation having to make a decision, whether consciously or by default. This might look really quiet on the surface this month, which some of you might be relieved to hear about, but it is setting off a slow burning chain of events. One that's going to culminate 6 months from now, March 3rd, 2026, in a massive lunar eclipse, and we'll talk about that. But we're also going to walk through the 3 Uranus aspects that are going to be made this month that really define these pressure points and the lunar cycles that mark the ending and beginning of chapters in the history of this nation and its people, while staying focused on the month of August. Let's start with Uranus and Gemini at 0 degrees very early in America's Uranus return, which I've been talking a lot about in previous videos. This is moving through the 6th house, which is the realm of labor, public health, military structure, national service. And, we could be also talking about Big Med here. Uranus is a planet of change, of instability, of unpredictability, and it is pushing us this month through 3 different aspects in terms of how we're integrating AI, automation, and digital systems into everyday life. On August 3rd, Uranus is going to quintile the North Node in Pisces in our 3rd house. And this is a moment of genius energy where we could see innovative solutions in education, in media, in our language. But it could be co-opted for narrative engineering, if you know what I mean. So watch out for subtle propaganda wrapped in spiritual or humanitarian messaging. Then on August 23rd, Uranus is going to semi-square Jupiter in Cancer in our 8th house. This could bring about some tension between, taxpayers and government spending and the ability for the public to really trust what's being done with those shared resources. We could be hearing about, what's going on with military spending, what's going on with RFK and Big Pharma and Big Med. Could also have to do with AI being used in government programs affecting people like veterans or seniors. Now on August 28th, Uranus is going to be sextiling Neptune in Aries in our 4th house. This is really the most idealistic here, but potentially the most dangerous because, Neptune can show you where the blind spot is. And with it right next to Saturn, also in Aries, this has to do with those in authority and perhaps what they are communicating in the homeland. Mind you, there's probably also going to be a push to sell the public on more programs that are tech enhanced, like having to do with national security or AI run healthcare, or even we might hear them spiritualized justifications for war. Don't be surprised if you hear some kind of patriotic sounding marketing campaigns or narratives about AI protecting our homeland. This could be highly emotional, but not necessarily grounded in the truth. So all 3 of these aspects that are Uranian, that are forming in the month of August, they're pushing us to ask one question as a nation. Are we using technology in a way to liberate people or to tighten control? Now let's zoom into the full moon in Aquarius on August 9th. And this is hitting our U.S. 2nd house, opposing the sun in Leo in the 8th house. These are money houses. By the way, if you are an Aquarius sun, or if you have prominent Aquarius placements like myself, this is going to be an ending or a closing chapter in your own personal life, depending on where Aquarius falls in your natal chart. But getting back to the U.S.'s chart, this is falling in these money houses with this axis here. And this has to do with what we as a nation earn versus what we owe, what we value versus what we sacrifice. So this full moon can bring about some kind of culmination or exposure around issues like national debt, national spending, shared debt, or even covert financial entanglements, especially ones that were set in motion around January 2025, just before Trump's inauguration, because this is closing out a 6-month cycle that was started at that time with the new moon in Aquarius. This cycle that's closing out is calling for us to consider the economic consequences, but also the mortal costs of how we use our power, how we fund our priorities, and who is ultimately benefiting from this. Now, on August 23rd, we get a new moon at 0 degrees in Virgo in the U.S. ninth house. And this is a powerful opening, new beginning. And at 0 degrees, we're looking at pure potential here. But the ninth house, it has a lot to do with foreign policy, higher education, religious ideologies, and global image and moral authority. This new moon is going to culminate 6 months from now in a lunar eclipse on March 3rd, 2026. And that is no small event. It's going to land right next to transiting vertex and the south node, loosely conjunct our natal Neptune, all in the ninth house. So this eclipse is going to be a reckoning point for the nation. A fated moment where past deceptions, broken ideals, hidden truths are brought to light on a global scale. We could see a foreign policy crisis or hidden agendas exposed. We could see some kind of spiritual or ideological disillusionment that shakes the American identity. But here in August, a seed is being planted with this new moon asking us what future we're unconsciously aligning with. And are we the ones really choosing it? So while this month may not feel explosive at all, which is welcome, it's full of coded messages. From tech innovations that could be cloaked in good intentions, to economic tensions surfacing in quiet ways, to a new moon that launches us toward a fated moment next spring. August sky is a warning. We're standing on the edge of technocratic control or national rebirth. And how we respond, what we wake up to, what we question, and what we plant, it matters.